Next month marks 1 year since a family of 4 filed a $1 million lawsuit against St. David's North Austin Medical Center after they were hurt when a car drove into the ER lobby. The driver, who was drunk, was killed. The lawsuit accuses the hospital system of gross negligence for not having safety bollards, which experts say could have stopped the crash.
And tonight, KXAN investigator Matt Grant looks into the legal defense.
Beyond the broken bones, surgeries, and rehab.
So I wasn't in our house for almost a month after the accident.
Are scars harder to heal?
He was saying, boom, owie, boom, owie. He was looking at cars, which is crazy. I mean, he's not even 2.
It's been more than a year since Levi and Nadia Bernard and their 2 toddlers were hit by a car inside St. David's North Austin Medical Center. Their youngest went through the windshield.
Hey, gonna be okay.
Medical bills and the lingering emotional toll are the center of their $1 million lawsuit against St. David's Healthcare. In court filings, the hospital system makes no mention of why it had no safety bollards outside the ER, but argues because Nadia was a patient that day getting a CT scan, her injury claims should be treated as medical liability, despite being in the lobby at the time, not an exam room, and having already been seen.
I think the average person can look at a situation like this and say, what does a car crashing through the ER door have anything to do with medical malpractice?
Is their defense surprising to you?
It's not surprising.
Texas medical malpractice attorney KXAN Way has no connection to this case, but has reviewed the court records. She says the legal strategy goes back to 2003.
Texas has consistently been among the states with the largest jury verdicts.
When state lawmakers passed the Texas Medical Liability Act to curb what Texans for Lawsuit Reform called
lottery-style windfalls for a few plaintiffs or their lawyers.
Capping pain and suffering in medical liability cases at $250,000.
I think the hospital is seizing upon the opportunity to limit its liability. They're trying to work the loophole. They're representing their client.
Under the law, which St. David's attorneys cite in its defense, medical liability claims relate to the treatment a patient received or didn't, or anything that goes against the accepted standards of care or safety directly related to health care. That part, safety, is what St. David's attorneys argue the allegation the hospital failed to protect Nadia, a patient with bollards, should fall under. Van Way says that's a stretch because bollards are not related to health care.
There are safety issues that are related to health care. Maintenance of a MRI machine that malfunctioned or something like that. But the safety issue must be related to health care. And in this case, one would have to look pretty long and hard to find evidence that a car running through the doors of an ER has anything to do with the provision of health care.
St. David's attorneys argue their petition to treat Nadia's claim as medical would only apply to her because she was their patient. The rest of her family's claim would be treated as personal injury, not subject to caps. If a judge agrees, that would limit the amount of money the hospital system might have to pay out for Nadia's pain and suffering compared to the rest of her family. Van Way says if hospital patients have fewer rights than visitors in terms of bringing a claim, that should concern all Texans.
Any reasonable human being would step back from this and say this is a legal absurdity. The law wasn't intended for this purpose.
The family's attorney is currently taking depositions of hospital officials trying to find out why they had bollards at some of its Central Texas locations, but not this one behind me. Bollards were installed after the fact, but the hospital will not say if they're crash rated to stop another incident. St. David's Healthcare would only say it does not comment on pending litigation. In Austin, Matt Grant, KXAN Investigates.
All right, Matt, thanks so much. Our reporting sparked a new ordinance in Austin requiring crash-rated security bollards at new hospitals.
It also directly led to a Senate bill that would expand the safety steps statewide. The Texas Nurses Association formally supports the bill, telling lawmakers that hospitals should incorporate bollards as part of their workplace violence prevention plans. You can catch up on our entire Preventing Disaster project, where our team found more than 400 crashes involving medical buildings nationwide in the past decade. It's online right now in the investigative section of KXAN.com.